Uganda is in darkness, and if you think that there is an election going on in Uganda, then you are completely wrong. I'm telling you, despite the shutdown on media and on the internet, the regime is engaged in ballot stuffing. They are doing all manner of things to ensure that the regime remains in power. There is no internet connection. The media is completely gagged. The world is watching at a distance. Nobody really knows what is happening in Uganda. I'm telling you, Uganda is in great darkness. Nobody is believing this. During the day, a lot of things actually happened. Most of them were reported by Ugandans themselves. You could see high militarization. Every polling station in Uganda is guarded by Ugandan military officers. The opposition leaders and opposition supporters have been arrested. Quite a good number of Changulanyi's agents have been arrested. They abducted. Their families don't know where they are. Even senior NUP leaders have been abducted. They are missing. Take an example of the deputy president of NUP in charge of Western region has gone missing because the military officers abducted her and her whereabouts is unknown up to now. Uganda is in great darkness and Africa is watching. Africa is just watching. Nobody is talking about what is happening in Uganda. The world is just watching. Nobody is there to stand with the people of Uganda. Uganda is at a very, very fragile situation. The democracy is completely dead and buried. Museveni wants to remain in power. I'm telling you, despite that, results have already started, are coming out. And in most polling stations from many districts, Changulanyi is ahead, is heading in even those areas that are perceived to be Museveni strongholds. I'm telling you, what is happening in Uganda now is only God that knows. Ladies and gentlemen, East Africa, Africa, the world as a whole, pray for Uganda because Uganda is at a precarious situation. The regime wants to stay in power and they want to do this through dubious means. The way members of the opposition are being treated is quite unfortunate. It is unfair. It is barbaric. Changulanyi himself was actually, we could say, was passively abducted and escorted to his voting station, polling station. You see, Uganda is now in fear. The whole nation has been militarized. Nobody is allowed to be seen outside. You see, it is actually so painful. You are told that after you vote, you go home. Whatever is going to happen to your votes, nobody knows, but only the regime. But one thing that I love with many Ugandans is that they have vowed to stand by the truth. They want to speak one language, that the truth must come out. They need justice. And that is why you could see some pictures, videos coming out, members of the public defying the police order that they should go back home. What were they doing? They were measuring 20 meters away from the polling station, just like the law dictates, and they vowed not to go home until the results are announced. And I'm telling you, some of these results, most of them are actually favoring Bobi Wine. Bobi Wine is winning this election squarely. He's winning it. But now the future of Ugandans is in the hand of the chairman of the electoral body. So this is the point where people should pray strongly to at least bring a miracle to the people of Uganda, because what most people want in Uganda is a change. Remember, Museveni has been in power. He has been ruling Uganda for over 40 years. He came to power, he ascended to power in 1986, when most of you who are watching me now, you had not been born. And Uganda's economy is actually deteriorating. Many people want change, but the regime has made it clear that it is going to use all the power it has to remain in power. Quite unfortunate, and this is a wake-up call to African leaders, African Union, the European Union, United Nations. You should come out and stand with the people of Uganda. Stand by them and ensure that justice is done. An electoral process is done fairly, freely, and the results should be actually verifiable, because what is happening in Uganda is going to be a tradition now that even other countries that had started embracing democracy will actually go back to the dark days. Please, the people of Uganda know that the world is standing with you and that you should stand for justice. The regime, Museveni's regime, is still in fear because every plan they had to rig this election is thwarted. One, the biometric kits stopped working, and even Museveni himself could not be identified. His biometrics could not actually be found. So the machine stopped working. So it was until late hours until midday that they decided to go the manual way. And I'm telling you, the kind of militarization the regime has used to scare the people of Uganda has actually made many Ugandans to fear for their lives, and many of them have decided not to go to vote. So there was a low voter turnout, and despite that, still the results that we are receiving show that Changulanyi Bobi Wine is actually is heading in most polling stations, most districts, even those that are perceived to be Museveni's strongholds. So the regime now is actually trying as much as it can to suppress the people, especially those with the dissenting voices, not to allow them to let the world know what is happening. Anybody found with with the smartphones capturing election process are being arrested. Their phones are being smashed. As we speak, the opposition have reported so many cases of abductions, especially most of their supporters have been arrested. Agents are nowhere to be seen. So imagine an election where agents of the opposition are being roughed up. So where do you want to get the transparency? So it is actually there is misuse of power to actually rig an election, which should be a free and democratic process. So it is quite unfortunate that Uganda is still entangled in a tradition that is actually outdated. Vote rigging in the manner it is happening in Uganda is old school, you see. So I wish they could have developed another way to do this. Like, for example, Why did they have to cut off the internet? Why do they have to stop the media from covering these elections? It is reported that big media companies like KTN were stopped from live streaming. They were actually told, you know what, we don't want you in Uganda. You see, so people don't know what is happening in Uganda in real time. The regime has taken control over everything. The other day, there were reports that the chairman of the electoral body actually raised some concerns over his security. That he tweeted that his life is in danger. There are people threatening him. But you see, I'm telling you, no one can threaten an electoral chairman, the chairman of an electoral body if it's not the one in power. So what is there is that Ugandans have done their part. So it is upon the electoral body now to announce the winner who deserves to take over as the next president of Uganda. But people are crying. The Ugandans are crying for a free and fair election. They need justice. They need everything to be done in a transparent way, not in darkness. And you see, the moment the internet was cut and the excuse that the regime gave out to do that was just a clear sign. That was a clear sign that this was an already rigged election, and therefore even those who are going to take part, they knew this is already a shammed election. It is a total sham. Let's pray for Uganda.